What's up, my friends? We are at a crossroads right now in New Jersey when it comes to our Second Amendment. We have an election for governor coming up in November, and we could completely eliminate our Second Amendment, or we could keep it the kind of way we have it right now, because we really don't have a Second Amendment. So we're going to go over a little bit of the things that are happening right now and how these two candidates on the Democratic side and the Republican side feel about the Second Amendment. You can kind of guess who's a little for it and who's not, but we're going to see. Let's check it out. So we have Jack Citerelli on the Republican side and Mikie Sherrill on the Democratic side. I personally was a big fan of Bill Spadia, who was running for governor as well. And I did a whole video. I went to see him at a gun range, speak about the Second Amendment. He's a Marine. He's a great guy. He was a radio host, 1015, the most popular show in New Jersey for years. And he was just completely against all the COVID tyranny and the all that crazy mandates and masks and all that crazy tyrannical stuff. And I really loved his stance on everything. And I felt like he understood the Second Amendment better than most people, better than most politicians, because he was a regular guy, Marine, made his own way and made his own business and became this popular radio host. So I really liked him, but unfortunately he didn't win because, Jack Citerelli has lots of money. And that's, I think, really what it came down to. Lots of money. I don't think it was anything about values, because when Cittarelli ran against Murphy before, he was beaten, not by much, but still, I feel like he didn't really have any strict values that he stuck to. I feel like he was all over the place saying what he felt like he should say at the time for whoever he was in front of, right? And they had that leaked video of him. I think Steven Crowder leaked it, of him saying, I'll leave a link to it, of him saying to somebody at a doorstep about people who didn't take vaccines, something like, why should we all be hurt because they don't want to get vaccinated? And turns out, look at that, it didn't even matter if you were vaccinated or not. You still got it, you still spread it, all that stuff. So he was kind of with that COVID tyranny stuff. He kind of liked it, and I don't, and most Americans didn't. So let's go back to that's not about Bill Spadia, because unfortunately he's out. So so Mikie Sherrill. I don't know much about her, but I do know that apparently she was a Navy pilot. And just because you're in the military doesn't mean you understand the Second Amendment. Not at all. Because if you're not a regular everyday person without security, your own armed security and Secret Service or whatever around you, you really don't understand it. If you're not an armed citizen that's going out there and training with your firearms because you may have to use them one day to defend yourself or, God forbid, defend foreign invaders, if you're not out there training with your firearm because you're in fear of the tyrannical government, or if you're not out there training with your firearms because you're not in fear of someone robbing you one day, do you really understand what the Second Amendment is for? The Second Amendment is for you to be able to be armed at all times, meaning bear arms, which means like a woman bears a child, it's always with you. It's for you to be able to bear arms and protect yourself against little tyranny, whether that's someone trying to rob you, or big tyranny, whether that's governments trying to control their citizens by force. That's what the Second Amendment is really for. And I really don't think Mikie Sherrill has any idea about that, even though she was in the military. That doesn't matter. She has a long history of supporting gun control. She backed universal background checks, assault weapons bans, red flag laws that allow the government to seize your guns. If she gets elected, I mean, the little bit of Second Amendment that we have will be even stricter. Just because Trump is the president and he is a Republican, that doesn't mean that New Jersey's gonna, go along with whatever he says. They're gonna try and do whatever stuff they can to keep the Second Amendment suppressed as much as they can. It's not speculation just because she's a Democrat that the that the Second Amendment will be restricted even more under her. It's just, that's her record. That's what she's been voting on, and that's how she's been standing her whole time. And she'll say it too, you know. I'll post. I'll look for some more. I'll look for if there's any videos of her saying it.
Year-olds being killed by somebody with a pistol brace, so they know this is something that is killing our children, and yet they're continuing to move forward in this way.
But yeah, she's just like all the other ones, and they do it little by little, chipping away at our Second Amendment. And because, you know, we fight back as much as you know, the gun owners in New Jersey can, as much as the lawyers and gun groups can in New Jersey. But right now we don't even have a real Second Amendment in New Jersey with all the restrictions. And yeah, you can carry now in New Jersey, but here's where you can carry. You can only carry here and here and here. So she's just gonna make it even harder. Isn't it amazing though that they have those restrictions? So like, you can't carry in a place where there's lots of kids. But I went through the process of being background checked and doing a shooting qualification and all that stuff to make sure that I'm, you know, skilled enough to shoot and hit a threat. But a bad guy who were to come in fully armed to the teeth to hurt the children there, he's not going to listen to those restricted areas. So why wouldn't you allow the people that have been background checked and shooting qualified, why wouldn't you allow them to carry there in case some crazy guy walked in, you know? The only logical explanation for that is that they actually want bad things to happen. Think about that. There's no other explanation on why a person who has gone through the process of getting their concealed carry permit in New Jersey shouldn't be able to carry their guns around areas where there's children. Because the reason that person got that concealed carry permit is to protect themselves and the innocent people around them. They didn't get it. Nobody goes out to get a concealed carry permit to then commit a mass shooting. That does not happen. Find me one example of that, because I bet you there's none. And that's the problem with New Jersey. The Democratic politicians actually want these bad things to happen. And if Mikie Sherrill gets in, it's only gonna go south. And unfortunately, Jack Citerelli is not so great either. Jack Cittarelli voted for gun control bills in 2013 and 2016. Is that right? Wait. Yeah, 2013 and 2016. He supported, you know, he said he supported reasonable gun control. Any gun control, whether reasonable or not, is a restriction on your Second Amendment. We should be able to be armed just like the government. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you had a government that got even crazier than it got in 2020, right? I mean, it got pretty crazy. They were literally firing everybody from their work because they didn't get a medical procedure that had only been out for how long? You know? So, and then they were, you know, threatening they probably would have went as far as, you know, who knows how far they would have went if you didn't do what they said. They were threatening you in all kinds of ways. So you could see how far it went and how far it really could have gone, right? So any gun control is a restriction. Any gun control. It sounds crazy, but we the people should be armed armed enough to be able to defend ourselves against a tyrannical government. Now, what does that mean? Do I expect citizens to have fighter jets parked in their driveway? No, but we should be able to be armed enough to defend ourselves. And I don't think any president or politician really understands that. Maybe there's probably a few. I don't think Donald Trump even really understands what the Second Amendment is for. Or maybe these politicians do. Maybe politicians do understand, and that's what it is. They don't want you, I think that's more of what it is. They don't want you to be able to defend yourself against the government. So that's why they want to restrict it so much. It's because they do understand. And that idea to them that the people would have the power is no good. Because when the government fears the people, there's freedom. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny, right? Isn't that how it goes? Isn't that the saying? But yeah, so I don't think Jack Citerelli would be much better. I think he's the kind of guy who would say he's going to support the Second Amendment, but he has no clue what it's about. And if he does, he still wants to keep it a little restricted. He doesn't want to be like, hey, constitutional carry for everybody. Magazine restrictions are gone. No bans on AR-15s. I don't care if you can fold your stock or move your stock or whatever. You can do whatever you want to your stock. You could have a stock that spins around in circles, you know? He's not going to be much better. I don't think he's going to take off the magazine bans if he gets in. I really don't think he's going to be much better. It'd be a little better, which is better than nothing, right? I mean, even with these restrictions, you have to think to yourself, like, these are unconstitutional. Do I have to follow this whole, you can't carry in these sensitive spaces? I wouldn't tell anybody what to do or break laws, but I'll tell you this. If you follow all the restricted places and don't carry where you could carry to protect yourself or other people, if you follow all those restrictions, you kind of don't have a Second Amendment at all, right? Yeah, unfortunately, both ways are not looking good for New Jersey. It doesn't look like we're going to have our Second Amendment 100%. And under Mikie Sherrill, we're really not going to have it. And she's just going to keep on doing what they're doing. So they'll make more restricted places. They'll make it even harder for you to get permits. They'll probably make it more expensive. I'm trying to look at what other notes I had here. Yeah, so this election coming up, if you want to keep the little bit of a Second Amendment that we have left, vote for Jack Citerelli. I'm not happy about it, but I'd be more happy about that for our Second Amendment in New Jersey than about Mikie Sherrill. Look at Phil Murphy, right? It's not going to get better than him on the Democratic side. It's only going to get worse. Unfortunately, the left has gone so left, and they just keep getting lefter, if that's even a saying. They really don't want our Second Amendment to get any less restricted in New Jersey. So guys, get out there and vote. As much as who knows if votes even count anymore, right? But get out there. You got to try. Get out there and vote. Let's save the little bit of the Second Amendment we have left in New Jersey. Remember, the Second Amendment is there for you to defend yourself against enemies, foreign and domestic. Never give it up. Thanks a lot, guys. Keep learning, keep training. Have a great rest of your day. I got to get to work. Have a good day.